In the heart of southeastern Nigeria, in a town where the red earth kissed your feet and the breeze carried the scent of roasted yam and burning firewood, there lived a woman named Adugo, meaning daughter of the eagle. She was praised for her brilliance and admired for her grace. She ran a thriving catering business in Onitsha, built from scratch. Her food tasted like it was touched by the gods. No event was complete without Adugo's signature dishes. She touched money, yet she remained very humble. She had two friends who she had recently met. They laughed together, cried together, but as the years rolled on, cracks began to form. Once Adugo never noticed until it swallowed her. Their names were Amaka and Ngozi. Amaka was fond of keeping so many male friends, both very old and young. She boasted that as a fine girl, she did not need to work so hard to get what she wanted. Ngozi, on the other hand, always loved to cut corners to get things done. It was only Adugo in this friend circle that was doing something meaningful for herself. Adugo, despite the warning she got from people about her association with Amaka and Ngozi, always boasted of how she cannot be influenced by her friends and that they have come a long way for her to cut ties from them just because of their changed perception of life or mindset. One evening, after Adugo won a huge catering contract, Amaka came over with champagne. "Forget business, my sister. You too dey serious. You be fine woman. Men dey everywhere. Why they hustle like say you no set?" "Because I built this with my two hands," Adugo replied. "I can't just throw it away." Amaka laughed, poured her a drink. "You don't need to throw it away. Just add some shortcuts here and there. I mean, that's what everybody does." That night, they dragged her to a party in Abuja, a wild, glittering club where old men whispered promises into young ears. Adugo did not fall, not then, but the seed was planted. She started showing up at more parties. She didn't take time to prepare for the catering contract that she was just awarded. She was giving less of her time to her brand. Soon, the rumors began. Adugo is changing. She is not like before. Later on, after a while, a scandal broke about misappropriated funds from a governor's wife's event, an event that Adugo had catered for. Adugo was blamed. A fake invoice appeared and she was banned from future state contracts. Her business crumbled. "I swear I did not forge anything," she cried to Ngozi. Ngozi hugged her and said, "I believe you, my friend. People are just wicked. But I think you should just take a break." They took her out to cool her head. And while they were out, a handsome man named Obiora approached Adugo. He was a quiet man, sincere man, an engineer. His looks was very luxurious, yet he was composed. Adugo hesitated but later gave Obiora her number. Obiora called Adugo and told her that he loved her and had admired her for years, and he would like to get to know her and start a relationship. Adugo confided in her friends, and they asked her, "Are you sure he is the one? You want to just date him without testing him?" "Test? How do you mean?" Adugo asked. "But I actually feel at peace with him, and I don't think there's anything wrong in giving him a chance, maybe to get to know him." Amaka and Ngozi said, "Men can't be trusted, so just test him. Disappear and don't call him for 2 months. If he is serious, he will fight for you." Adugo was confused, but she decided to do what they had advised her. 2 months later, she called Obiora. "I waited. I called. I came to your house. You ignored me. I even heard that you were seeing another man, so I moved on with somebody else, Obiora said. No, she stammered and she was dumbfounded. In the heat of her agony, when she needed her friends the most, they were nowhere to be found. None of them picked her calls, nor returned her calls, or even checked up on her in these depressing moments where she had her business crumbled and her heart broken. While Adugo sat in her house with deep in depression, with unpaid bills, even her shop rent had expired, and she had no hope of paying it, still struggling to bounce back. She sold spices in the market and tutored girls in cooking for a token. She didn't go out much. People no longer called her name in admiration. One morning, while cleaning an old drawer in her house, she found an old diary of Ngozi, the one that Ngozi forgot the last time they met. Curious, she opened it. Pages flipped. Then she saw it. Adugo thinks we love her. Pity. She had everything, but she will learn that the sun doesn't shine forever. Let's see how long she flies with those wings. Adugo's hand shook as she flipped through more pages. I gave the senator's aide the invoice. I made sure it matched her style. If she goes down, they will never trace it to us. Adugo caught her breath. Another page read, Obiora was all mine. I'll never let her have him. I told him she was seeing someone else. Men are so easy to break. There was silence. Adugo sat for a long time staring at the wall. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She simply closed the book, walked to the backyard and burnt it away into ashes. The fire in her eyes dimmed in bitterness. I was born an eagle, she whispered, but I flew with snakes. Those I thought were my friends truly were jealous of me and led me astray. She turned to the future. She couldn't rewrite the past, but she could teach others to see the signs. Years had passed since the scandal had crushed her. She now ran a small food stall in Enugu, cooking from a tiny shop. The streets no longer called her Chef of the East. Clients had vanished. Her former friends had dissolved into the wind, leaving behind only the ashes of betrayal. She became intentional about the kinds of friends she kept and vowed not to overlook the red flags when spotted. She made new friends whose values aligned with hers. These were women who saw her not for what she had lost, but for what she still carried. With their encouragement, she slowly rebelled. She created a new catering name, Eagle's Feast, and offered services for small gatherings. Though the jobs were few, words of her talents slowly trickled through the community. But then, just as hope was about to form again, disaster struck. One Monday morning, while scrolling through her social media, she saw news on blogs. She read the headline, Shocking, fallen chef Adugo accused of using dead meat in dishes. Adugo nearly collapsed. She shut her shop and stayed indoors. Fear, humiliation, anger, it all came rushing back. But her new friends did not leave. They encouraged her to keep up with her authenticity. They even gave her an idea to offer free food testing to some major food critics who would definitely spread the good reviews on her meals. By the next week, the false accusations were exposed. It turned out a jealous rival from the next street had paid the blogger to spread lies. Adugo didn't press charges, but the truth did something even better. It spread like wildfire. One afternoon, outside her humble store were 3 well-dressed men followed by a woman. They were officials from the governor's office. The woman approached Adugo. "We owe you an apology," the woman said. turns out they had discovered the real invoice Adugo's ex-friend Ngozi swapped. That led to a scandal that destroyed her business and made them to terminate her contract. The governor personally asked us to reach out, the woman added. We are offering a compensation package and we want you to cater to the state women's conference next month, paid in full upfront. Adugo stood frozen. Tears welled in her eyes. Thank you so much, she said. The event was a grand success. Adugo's name returned to the air, but this time with respect, not gossip. She expanded her brand, Eagle's Feast, into a full restaurant with branches everywhere. At the relaunch event, dressed in royal blue, she gave a speech. I fell, not because I was weak, but because I trusted wrong. Today I rise, not alone, but with those who reminded me of who I am. Among the guests was a tall, kind doctor named Dr. Ebuka. He was not moved by wealth or gossip. He had quietly followed her story and respected how she rose again. They exchanged contacts, kept in touch, and became good friends. 6 months later, he proposed, not with a crowd, but in her kitchen, holding a plate of her famous jollof rice. I'm not here to rescue you, he said. I'm here because you rescued yourself, and I'll be honored to walk beside a woman like you. What did you learn from this story? Kindly share what you learned in the comment section, and please subscribe, like, and share.